She thought moving away meant leaving everything behind until she discovered some connections run deeper than blood. But what happens when choosing between two hearts means choosing between two worlds? Comment where in the world you're watching from, then let's return to where the legend continues. Rain falls steadily over the Pacific Northwest, drops streaking down a car window in silver lines. Through the glass, dense evergreen forests blur past, trees crowded so close they block most of the sky. Mist hangs between the trunks, thick and gray. The vehicle moves along a two-lane highway, windshield wipers beating a steady rhythm. Inside the car, Bella Swan sits in the passenger seat, 18 years old, her brown hair pulled back loosely. She wears a simple jacket, hands folded in her lap. Her father Charlie drives, his police uniform visible under an open jacket, his weathered face focused on the wet road ahead. Neither speaks. The heater hums softly. Bella watches the trees pass, her dark eyes distant, thoughtful. The truck turns onto a smaller road, gravel crunching under the tires. A wooden sign reads "Welcome to Forks" in faded letters. Houses appear between the trees, small and weathered, their roofs dark with rain. Smoke rises from a few chimneys, disappearing into the low clouds. Everything looks damp, green, perpetually wet. Charlie pulls into the driveway of a modest two-story house, white paint slightly worn. He cuts the engine. Rain drums on the roof. Bella opens her door, cold air rushing in immediately. She steps out onto wet gravel, pulling her jacket tighter. Charlie moves to the truck bed, lifting out a suitcase. Bella takes a smaller bag, slinging it over her shoulder. Inside the house, warm yellow light fills the rooms. The interior feels lived in, comfortable but simple. Family photos hang on the walls, furniture worn and familiar. Charlie carries the suitcase upstairs, footsteps heavy on the wooden steps. Bella follows slowly, trailing one hand along the railing. At the top, Charlie pushes open a door. Bella's old bedroom appears unchanged. A bed with a faded quilt sits against one wall, a desk and chair near the window. The walls are bare except for a few old posters. Rain taps against the glass. Bella sets her bag down, moving to the window. Through it the forest continues endlessly, trees vanishing into mist. She places one hand against the cool glass, breath fogging slightly. Charlie stands in the doorway, hands in his pockets. He watches her uncertain. "It's good to have you home, Bells," he says quietly. Bella turns, offering a small smile. "Thanks, Dad." Charlie nods, stepping back into the hallway. His footsteps fade down the stairs. Bella unpacks slowly, pulling clothes from her suitcase and hanging them in the closet. She places books on the desk, arranges a few photos on the dresser. In one picture, she stands with her mother Renee in bright Arizona sunlight, both smiling. Bella's fingers linger on the frame before setting it down carefully. Morning arrives, gray and overcast. Bella descends the stairs wearing jeans and a long-sleeve shirt layered under a zip-up hoodie. The kitchen smells like coffee. Charlie sits at the table reading the newspaper, a mug steaming beside him. He glances up. "First day. You nervous?" Bella shakes her head, pouring herself coffee. "I'll be fine." Charlie nods, returning to his paper. Outside, Bella walks to an old pickup truck parked beside the house. The truck is red, or was once, the paint faded and rust showing along the wheel wells. She climbs in, the door creaking loudly. The engine turns over with a rough rumble. Bella backs out carefully, the truck lurching slightly. The high school building appears through the trees, a collection of brick structures surrounded by parking lots. Students mill around, clusters of teenagers talking, laughing. Cars pull in steadily. Bella parks at the far edge of the lot, gripping the steering wheel for a moment before climbing out. She walks across the wet pavement, backpack over one shoulder. Students glance at her, conversations pausing. Whispers follow her path. Bella keeps her eyes down, moving toward the main entrance. A group of boys stands near the doors. One, Eric, notices her, elbowing his friend. They watch as she passes. Inside, fluorescent lights hum overhead. Lockers line the hallways, painted industrial green. Students rush between classes, voices echoing off tile floors. Bella stops at the office, a small room with a front desk. A secretary looks up, smiling warmly. "You must be Isabella Swan." Bella nods. "Just Bella." The woman hands her a schedule and a map. "Welcome to Forks High." Bella navigates the crowded hallways, checking room numbers. She finds her first classroom, English, and slips inside. Desks fill most of the space. Students already seated. The teacher, an older woman with glasses, gestures to an empty seat near the middle. Bella sits, pulling out a notebook. A girl beside her, Jessica, leans over immediately. "You're the new girl, right? From Arizona?" Bella nods. Jessica grins. "I'm Jessica. That's Mike, Eric, Angela." She points around the room. Bella offers a polite smile. The morning passes in a blur of introductions and curious stares. By lunch, Jessica has attached herself to Bella, leading her through the cafeteria line. The room buzzes with conversation, trays clattering, chairs scraping. Jessica guides Bella to a table where several students already sit. Mike waves enthusiastically. Angela, quieter, smiles warmly. Eric nods, trying to look casual. Bella sits, picking at her food. Jessica talks rapidly, explaining social dynamics, pointing out various groups. Bella listens half-heartedly, gaze drifting across the cafeteria. Then she freezes. At a table in the far corner, 5 students sit together, completely separate from everyone else. They're beautiful in an unsettling way. Pale skin almost luminous under the fluorescent lights. Features too perfect to seem entirely real. 3 boys and 2 girls, all dressed stylishly but simply. They don't eat. Trays empty before them. They speak quietly among themselves, seeming unaware of the rest of the room. Jessica follows Bella's gaze. That's the Cullen family, she whispers. Dr. Cullen and his wife adopted them all. They're different. Keep to themselves. She points discreetly. That's Alice, the little pixie-like one. Jasper, her boyfriend, the blonde who always looks like he's in pain. Emmett, the big guy. Rosalie, the gorgeous blonde. And that's Edward. Edward sits slightly apart from the others, bronze hair falling across his forehead, eyes downcast. His features are angular, sharp, devastatingly handsome. He looks up suddenly, and Bella's breath catches. His eyes are a strange golden color, almost amber. For one moment, their gazes lock across the cafeteria. Edward's expression shifts immediately. His jaw tightens, lips pressing into a thin line. He looks away sharply, posture stiffening. Bella feels a chill, confusion washing over her. Jessica continues talking, oblivious. Edward doesn't date. Apparently none of the girls here are good enough. She laughs, but Bella barely hears. The afternoon drags. Bella moves through classes mechanically, unable to shake the image of Edward's face. The way he looked at her with something close to anger, disgust. She doesn't understand. Her last class is biology. Bella enters, scanning for an empty seat. Her stomach drops. The only open seat is at a lab table beside Edward Cullen. He sits rigid, staring straight ahead, one hand gripping the edge of the desk. Bella approaches slowly, sliding into the chair. She sets her backpack down carefully. Edward doesn't acknowledge her. His entire body angles away, posture tense. Bella catches his scent despite herself. Something clean, almost sweet, like honey and sunshine. She tries to focus on the teacher, who stands at the front explaining cellular biology. Minutes pass. Edward sits motionless, not breathing visibly, jaw clenched. His hand on the desk is pale, fingers rigid. Without warning, he turns his head slightly, catching her looking. His golden eyes bore into hers, cold and hostile. Bella flinches, turning away quickly, heart hammering. The hour feels endless. When the bell finally rings, Edward is gone before Bella can blink, moving with inhuman speed toward the door. She sits frozen, watching him disappear into the hallway, confusion and hurt tightening her chest. Days pass in similar fashion. Edward doesn't return to school. His seat remains empty beside Bella, class after class. She finds herself watching the door, waiting, though she doesn't understand why. Jessica and the others try to include her in conversations, but Bella feels distant, distracted. A week later, snow begins to fall. Bella stands in the school parking lot after classes, watching fat flakes drift down through gray sky. Students hurry to their cars, breath fogging. Bella walks toward her truck, boots crunching on fresh snow. A black car suddenly slides on ice, spinning out of control. Bella turns, eyes widening. The car skids directly toward her, metal screaming. She's frozen, no time to move. Then someone is there. Edward appears from nowhere, positioning himself between Bella and the car. He raises one hand, palm out, and the car simply stops. The vehicle crumples against his hand like paper, metal shrieking, but doesn't touch Bella. Edward's other arm wraps around her waist, pulling her aside effortlessly. Silence falls. Students stare in shock. The car's driver stumbles out, unharmed but shaken. Edward releases Bella, stepping back. She looks at him, eyes huge, breathing hard. How did you? His voice is low, musical. An ambulance arrives, paramedics insisting on checking both students. Bella sits in the back, a blanket around her shoulders, still trembling. She watches Edward speak with a medic across the lot. He looks completely calm, not a scratch visible. Their eyes meet briefly. Edward's gaze is intense, warning. Then he turns away. At the hospital, Bella sits on an examination table, while a doctor checks her vitals. The doctor is young, blonde, impossibly handsome. Dr. Carlisle Cullen, Edward's adoptive father. His manner is gentle, professional. You were very lucky, he says softly, shining a light in her eyes. Bella nods numbly. Charlie arrives, pulling her into a tight hug, face pale with worry. That night Bella lies in bed unable to sleep. Rain patters against the window. She replays the moment endlessly. Edward appearing from nowhere, stopping the car with one hand, moving with impossible speed. Her mind races with questions, theories, none of them rational. The next morning, Bella confronts Edward in the school parking lot. He's leaning against his silver Volvo, looking bored. She approaches directly, arms crossed. I know what I saw. Edward's expression doesn't change. And what was that? His voice is carefully neutral. Bella takes a breath. You were nowhere near me. Then suddenly you were. And you stopped that car like it was nothing. Adrenaline. You remember incorrectly. Bella shakes her head. Don't lie to me. Edward's eyes flash. Drop it, Bella. He says her name like a warning. Then he walks away, leaving her standing alone. Weeks unfold in tense silence. Edward returns to biology but doesn't speak, maintaining careful distance. Bella feels his presence constantly, hyper-aware whenever he's near. She notices things. He never eats, never seems cold despite the weather, moves with unnatural grace. Her curiosity becomes obsession. One afternoon, Bella sits in her room researching online. She types various search terms: superhuman strength, speed, pale skin, cold. Old legends appear, folklore from around the world. One word keeps recurring: vampire. Bella stares at the screen, heart pounding. It's impossible, ridiculous, but the pieces fit too perfectly. The following day, a school trip takes students to a nearby beach at La Push, the neighboring reservation. Bella sits on driftwood logs with Jessica and Angela, watching waves crash against dark rocks. The sky is overcast, gray light filtering through clouds. Students explore tide pools, laughing, voices carried on the wind. A group of teenage boys approaches from down the beach, residents from the reservation. One, Jacob Black, recognizes Bella. He's tall, broad-shouldered, warm brown skin, long black hair pulled back. His smile is open, friendly. Bella Swan, I'm Jacob. Our dads are friends. Bella remembers him vaguely from childhood visits. They fall into easy conversation. Jessica whispers something to Jacob's friend. Then the group disperses. Bella seizes the opportunity. She asks Jacob casually about local legends, old stories. Jacob laughs, relaxing. You mean the cold ones? His voice drops playfully. Old tribal legends. My ancestors made a treaty with them generations ago. They're not supposed to come on our land. Bella leans forward. The cold ones? Vampires. Blood drinkers. Fast, strong, immortal. Supposedly. He grins, clearly treating it as folklore. The Cullens are supposedly descended from them. But it's just scary stories, you know. Bella's blood runs cold. Everything clicks into place with terrible clarity. Edward's speed, strength, cold skin. The way he looked at her like she was prey. Vampire. The word echoes in her mind. Impossible but undeniable. That evening, Bella drives to the Cullen house, determination overriding fear. The house sits deep in the forest, modern and beautiful, all glass and white stone. Lights glow warmly inside. Bella parks, hands shaking on the steering wheel. She walks to the front door, raises her hand to knock. The door opens before she touches it. Edward stands in the doorway, expression unreadable. He's wearing a simple button-down shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows. For a long moment neither speaks. Finally Edward steps back. Come in. Inside, the house is stunning. High ceilings and walls of windows overlooking the forest. Art hangs on the walls, expensive but tasteful. Edward leads Bella to a sitting area. They stand facing each other, tension thick. I know what you are, Bella says quietly. Edward goes completely still. Say it. His voice is barely a whisper. Bella meets his eyes. Vampire. Edward's expression doesn't change, but something shifts in his gaze. Are you afraid? Bella considers, then shakes her head slowly. No. Edward exhales, a sound like relief and resignation. You should be. He begins to speak, words pouring out after weeks of silence. He explains everything. What he is, what his family is. They're vampires. Yes, but different. They don't hunt humans. They survive on animal blood, living among humans while resisting their most basic instinct. It's difficult, constant struggle. Edward's voice grows rough. You don't understand how hard it is. Being near you, you're sent. He stops, jaw working. Bella steps closer. Then why stay? Why not just avoid me? Edward's golden eyes find hers, raw emotion breaking through his careful control. Because I can't. I tried. That week I left school. I went to Alaska, tried to stay away. But I came back. I had to. His voice drops. You're like my own personal brand of heroin, Bella. The confession hangs between them. Bella reaches out slowly, touching his hand. It's cold as marble, hard. Edward flinches but doesn't pull away. Show me, Bella whispers. Show me what you can do. They leave the house, walking into the forest. Trees tower overhead, trunks thick with moss. Edward leads Bella to a clearing where pale sunlight breaks through clouds. He stops at the edge, turning to face her. This is why we don't go out in sunlight around humans. He steps forward into the light. Bella gasps. Edward's skin doesn't burn or smoke. Instead it sparkles. Thousands of tiny diamond-like facets catching the light, shimmering as if covered in crystals. He looks like a living sculpture, beautiful and utterly inhuman. Edward watches her reaction carefully. This is what I am, a monster. Bella walks forward, reaching out to touch his sparkling skin. You're beautiful. Edward's expression twists with disbelief and longing. Then he moves, demonstrating his abilities. He runs, becoming a blur through the trees, covering impossible distances in seconds. He climbs, scaling a massive tree trunk in heartbeats. He lifts a boulder the size of a car, holding it overhead effortlessly. Each demonstration is controlled, precise, showing Bella both his power and his restraint. They sit together on fallen logs, talking for hours. Edward describes his life. Born in Chicago in 1901, turned during the Spanish influenza epidemic at 17. Carlisle found him dying, changed him to save his life. He's been 17 for over 100 years, living through wars, decades, countless identities. Bella listens, fascinated, asking questions. Edward answers honestly, holding nothing back. As dusk approaches, Edward insists on driving Bella home. They sit in his Volvo outside her house, engine idling softly. Neither wants the conversation to end. Finally, Bella opens the door. Edward catches her hand. You should stay away from me, Bella. For your own safety. Bella meets his eyes steadily. What if I don't want to? Edward's expression shows both hope and fear.
then God help us both. Days transform into something dreamlike. Bella and Edward become inseparable. At school, Edward sits beside her at lunch, ignoring shocked stares from other students. His siblings watch with varying reactions, Alice beaming with approval, Rosalie cold and disapproving, Emmett amused, Jasper wary. Jessica bombards Bella with questions, which Bella deflects vaguely. Edward walks Bella to classes, carrying her books despite protests. They study together in the library, his cold hand occasionally brushing hers under the table. The touch sends electricity through Bella every time. Edward watches her constantly with an intensity that should be frightening but instead makes her feel seen, truly known. One night Edward appears at Bella's bedroom window. She wakes to find him sitting in the chair by her desk, moonlight casting shadows across his perfect features. Bella sits up, heart racing. "How long have you been watching me sleep?" Edward's expression is almost embarrassed. "Every night since we met. I wanted to understand you. The way you talk in your sleep." Bella should be horrified but instead feels oddly protected. They establish a routine. Edward arrives after Charlie falls asleep, climbing through Bella's window with inhuman grace. They talk through the night, Bella curled under blankets, Edward sitting nearby, never touching beyond what's absolutely safe. He tells stories from his long life, watching the moon landing, learning to play music, traveling the world. Bella shares her own smaller life, growing up in Phoenix, her mother's impulsive nature, her love of reading. Edward introduces Bella properly to his family. She visits the Cullen house for dinner, though only she eats. Alice is immediately welcoming, her tiny frame radiating enthusiasm. She hugs Bella, chattering about shopping trips they'll take. Emmett is jovial, teasing Edward mercilessly about finally finding someone. Jasper hangs back, still struggling with Bella's scent, but nods politely. Rosalie remains cold, making it clear she doesn't approve of this relationship, endangering their family's secret. Carlisle and his wife Esme are gracious hosts. Esme, warm and motherly despite her supernatural nature, shows genuine affection for Bella. Carlisle speaks about his life's work as a doctor, his dedication to helping humans despite what he is. The evening feels almost normal, a family dinner, until Bella notices none of them breathe regularly or blink, small tells of their true nature. Edward takes Bella to his room, a large space filled with music. CDs line the walls, thousands, organized meticulously. A piano sits near the windows. Edward sits, hands moving across the keys. Music fills the space, a melody he composed himself. "It's beautiful, complex, emotional. I wrote this for you," he says softly. "I call it Bella's lullaby." Bella listens, tears pricking her eyes at the tenderness in each note. Spring approaches, bringing slightly warmer temperatures but still constant clouds. Edward and Bella spend every moment possible together. They hike through the forest, Edward pointing out hidden waterfalls and secret clearings. He tells her about animal behavior he's observed over decades. Bella listens, storing every detail, wanting to know everything about his world.
One afternoon, Alice approaches Bella at school, practically bouncing. "We're playing baseball this weekend. Thunderstorms coming. You should come watch." Bella looks confused. "Baseball?" Alice grins. "You'll see. It's a little different when we play." The weekend arrives with dark clouds rolling in, thunder rumbling in the distance. Edward picks up Bella in the Jeep, Emmett and Alice in the back seat. They drive deep into the mountains, reaching an enormous clearing. The rest of the Cullens are already there, dressed in baseball gear. Lightning flashes overhead, thunder cracking seconds later. Edward explains, they can only play baseball during thunderstorms because otherwise humans would hear the sound when they hit the ball. The crack of their bat is louder than any normal swing. Bella watches, amazed as the family plays. They move at supernatural speed, throwing the ball so fast it's almost invisible, hitting with such force it sounds like thunder. Alice pitches, seeing pitches before they're thrown. Emmett catches balls that should be impossible to reach. Edward hits one so far it vanishes into the forest. Bella sits on the sidelines with Esme, laughing in delight. This is their life, she realizes, finding joy in the small freedoms their nature allows. The game is fierce, competitive, but also filled with laughter and family warmth. For a moment watching Edward run the bases at inhuman speed, grinning wildly, Bella forgets the danger, the impossibility. She just sees someone she's falling deeply in love with. Then Alice freezes mid-pitch, her eyes go distant, unfocused. Edward's head snaps up, Jasper goes rigid. The game stops instantly. Edward crosses to Bella in a blur, positioning himself in front of her protectively. Alice's voice is tight. "3 of them, coming fast. I didn't see them until just now." From the forest edge 3 figures emerge. They move with the same predatory grace as the Cullens, but something about them is different, wilder, less civilized. The leader is James, blonde hair pulled back, eyes sharp and calculating. Beside him Victoria, red-haired and beautiful, watches everything with feral awareness. The third, Laurent, dark-skinned and elegant, raises his hands peacefully. Laurent speaks first. "We heard the game, thought we'd check it out." His accent is French, voice cultured. Carlisle steps forward, diplomatic. "We were just finishing. I'm Carlisle. This is my family." Laurent nods. "Nomads. We don't stay in one place." His eyes drift across the group, pausing on Bella with curiosity. A breeze shifts, blowing Bella's scent directly toward the newcomers. James's head whips around, nostrils flaring. His eyes lock onto Bella, and something predatory awakens in his expression. A slow smile spreads across his face. Edward snarls, a sound purely animal, crouching defensively in front of Bella. The Cullens move as one, forming a protective barrier. James's smile widens. You brought a snack. His tone is mocking, but his eyes gleam with Hunter's interest. Edward's voice is deadly. She's with us. James tilts his head, studying Bella with fascinated intensity. A human. How? Laurent places a hand on James's shoulder. We'll leave. No harm meant. But James doesn't move, still staring at Bella. The moment stretches impossibly. Finally, James laughs, stepping back. Of course, we respect your territory. But the look he gives Bella promises this isn't over. The three vanish into the forest, moving too fast to follow. The Cullens relax slightly. Edward turns to Bella, hands on her shoulders, face tight with fear. We have to get you somewhere safe, now. They rush to the jeep, driving too fast back toward town. Edward explains rapidly. James is a tracker, a hunter. The challenge of Bella being protected will drive him obsessive. He won't stop until he gets her. Edward's voice shakes with barely controlled panic. At Bella's house, the Cullens convene urgently. The plan forms quickly. Alice and Jasper will take Bella far away, to Phoenix, where her scent trail will be harder to follow in the desert heat. Edward wants to go, but Carlisle insists he stay, help hunt James. Bella protests, refusing to leave Edward. Their argument is desperate, both terrified for the other. Finally, Bella agrees, seeing the determination in Edward's eyes. Charlie is confused when Bella announces she's leaving to visit her mother. Bella hates lying, manufacturing an argument to make it believable. Charlie looks hurt but doesn't stop her. Bella feels terrible, but Edward's insistence on her safety overrides everything. Within the hour, she's in a car with Alice and Jasper, speeding south through darkness. The drive is endless. Alice drives impossibly fast, Jasper watching behind them constantly. They stop only for gas, Bella barely sleeping, exhaustion and fear mixing. Alice tries to distract her with conversation, but Bella can't focus. She keeps thinking of Edward, wondering if he's safe, if they'll find James first. They reach Phoenix, checking into a hotel under false names. Alice keeps watch while Jasper paces, his ability to sense emotions making him hyper-aware of Bella's fear. Days blur together, waiting for news. Edward calls constantly, his voice strained. They haven't found James. Victoria and Laurent have disappeared. James is hunting, searching, getting closer. Then Bella's phone rings, a number she doesn't recognize. She answers. James's voice comes through, smooth and terrifying. Hello, Bella. I have your mother. If you want to see her alive, come to your old ballet studio. Alone. Tell anyone. And she dies. The line goes dead. Bella's world stops. Terror floods through her, cold and absolute. Her mother. James has her mother. She can't think, can't breathe. Alice and Jasper are in the other room. Bella moves mechanically, grabbing her jacket, leaving a note. She sneaks out, hailing a taxi, giving the studio address. Her hands won't stop shaking. The ballet studio sits in a quiet strip mall, windows dark. Bella enters, the space familiar from childhood lessons. Mirrors line the walls, reflecting empty hardwood floors. It's silent, abandoned. Mom? Bella calls, voice echoing. No response. She walks further in, heart hammering. Mom. A television flickers to life in the corner, showing a home video. Young Bella and her mother, years ago, laughing. It's old footage. Bella realizes with horror. Her mother isn't here. It was a trick. James steps from the shadows, smile cold. Sorry, Bella, but a girl's got to know how to work with what she's got. His voice is mocking, cruel. Bella backs away, but James moves faster, blocking the exit. You really made this too easy, though I must thank your friends for bringing you all the way to me. He circles her slowly, predator toying with prey. Bella searches desperately for escape. There is none. James lunges. The attack is brutal and fast. James throws Bella across the room. She crashes into mirrors, glass shattering around her. Pain explodes through her body. She tries to crawl away, but James is there, grabbing her leg, pulling her back. He bites, teeth sinking deep into her wrist. Venom floods her bloodstream, liquid fire burning through her veins. Bella screams. Then the studio door explodes inward. Edward appears, face twisted in rage, more terrifying than anything Bella has seen. He tackles James, both moving too fast to see clearly. They collide with inhuman force, crashing through walls. Alice and Jasper arrive seconds later. Emmett and Carlisle burst in behind them. The Cullens attack as one, subduing James with overwhelming force. Edward is at Bella's side instantly, lifting her carefully. Her wrist burns, venom spreading. She's going into shock, vision blurring. Edward's face appears above her, stricken with terror. Bella, stay with me. His voice breaks. Carlisle kneels beside them, examining the bite. The venom spreading. Edward, you have to suck it out. Now. Edward hesitates only a heartbeat, then lowers his mouth to Bella's wrist. He drinks, pulling venom from her blood, fighting every instinct to keep drinking. Bella feels the fire slowly recede, pulled back from her veins. Edward's face shows immense strain, fighting his nature. Finally Carlyle touches his shoulder. Enough, you got it. Edward pulls back, face agonized. Bella's consciousness fades, pain and exhaustion overwhelming. The last thing she sees is Edward's face, tears on his marble cheeks, lips forming her name. She wakes in a hospital room, bright sunlight streaming through windows. Her body aches everywhere, bandages covering cuts and bruises. Her mother Renee sits beside the bed, holding Bella's uninjured hand, face tear-stained. Charlie stands nearby, looking aged with worry. They tell her she fell downstairs at the hotel, through a window. Edward and his family brought her straight to the hospital. Bella goes along with the lie, too exhausted to explain. Days pass in recovery. Edward never leaves, sitting beside her bed every moment. Visiting hours allow, holding her hand, speaking softly. His eyes hold guilt and self-recrimination. This is my fault. I put you in danger. Bella squeezes his hand. You saved me. Edward shakes his head. I almost got you killed. Finally released from the hospital, Bella returns to Forks. Spring has transformed the forest. Everything green and lush. She heals slowly, bruises fading, cuts becoming scars. Edward remains protective, barely letting her out of sight. The Cullen family rallies around her, making her feel included, safe. One evening Edward appears at her door in a suit. I have something to ask you. He looks nervous, uncertain. Bella invites him in. Charlie greets him politely, retreating to give them privacy. Edward leads Bella upstairs to her room. Music plays softly from somewhere. Bella's lullaby drifting through the air. Edward takes both her hands, golden eyes intense. Bella, I know this is fast. I know I've put you through hell. But I need you to know, I love you, completely, forever. Bella's breath catches. Edward continues, voice raw. I want you in my life, whatever that looks like, however long you'll have me. Bella reaches up, touching his cold cheek. I love you too. I want forever with you. Edward closes his eyes, leaning into her touch. Forever is a very long time for me. I don't age, don't change. Eventually, he can't finish. Bella understands. Eventually, she'll grow old, die, while he remains frozen at 17. Then change me, Bella whispers. Edward's eyes fly open, shock and horror warring in his expression. No. Bella, you don't know what you're asking. This life, this existence. Bella interrupts. I know exactly what I'm asking. However that looks. Edward's face shows pain, conflict, love. I can't take your life, your soul. Bella smiles. You're not taking anything. I'm choosing. I choose you. They stand in the growing darkness, holding each other, the future uncertain, but the love between them absolute and undeniable. Outside Bella's window, the forest stretches endlessly, shadows deepening between the trees. Rain begins to fall, gentle and steady, the way it always does in Forks. Somewhere in the darkness, Victoria watches from the tree line, red hair wet with rain, eyes fixed on the house. James is gone, her mate destroyed, but she's patient. She'll wait. And when the time comes she'll have her revenge. But for now, in Bella's small room, two hearts beat, one warm, one silent. Edward holds Bella carefully, as if she might break, as if she's the most precious thing in any of his lifetimes. And Bella holds him back, this impossible boy, this vampire, this love that defies nature itself. The future waits, full of danger and transformation, and choices that will reshape everything. But tonight, they have this, the warmth of one body, the strength of the other, and love that promises to burn brighter than any venom, stronger than any supernatural force. Forever beckons, terrifying and beautiful. And Bella Swan, ordinary girl from Phoenix, looks into the golden eyes of her vampire, and says yes to eternity, consequences be damned. She went searching for normal in a town of rain and trees, and found forever in the eyes of someone who shouldn't exist. Sometimes the most dangerous choice is also the only one worth making. And love, real love, doesn't ask for safety, it asks for courage to face the impossible together.